Good morning, team. Excited to be here with you today. Thank you guys for being on the call. So fun to see some of your faces. I haven't seen you in a while. So it's fun to see you. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm excited to be here. Thank you guys for putting the chat, the gratitudes in the chat box. Some fun ones to see there. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started. So today I want to talk to you guys about probably one of my favorite topics. I know I probably say that every single time I talk, but it's because I think that these are critical points to an agent's successful business, right? So I want you guys to write this down. Versatility. And there's 4 specific books that I always will recommend for these things, but I think agents need to make sure that they're reading. And this is a great time with the holidays and the cold. And I know some of us are sitting at home and reading a little bit more than we normally do. It's a great time for you to pick up some books. So Versatile Selling by Wilson Learning Systems is a great book. Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox. And then The Platinum Rule. Okay, sorry, I know I said 4, I think there's only 3. So 3 books that you guys should go pick up, but The Platinum Rule is a really easy read. The Versatile Selling, I will say, is a little bit more around the technical terms of this, but it's definitely critical to your business. So the biggest challenge that I see as a coach is that agents don't know how to adapt to the other personalities. Right? They don't know how to serve the other personalities. They think, in fact, oftentimes, and I love this statement, but I've even heard it from other brokers, is, serve or lead out, or make sure you only work with people who are like you guys. And I will tell you what my coach told me, and he said, that's your lack of leadership. If you can't adapt to the other personality styles and you can't work with a variety of people, right, then that's your lack of leadership. So we always talk about leadership here at Everest. I would challenge you guys, how versatile are you? Are you actually being able to ask enough questions to then be able to adapt to who you need to be for them, right? Are you paying attention to the words, the terms, the things that they used? Jason did a great session a couple of weeks ago. He talked about rapport and making sure that you know how to mirror and match and that you use your tonality and things like that. There's certain things, even with the personality styles, that if you mirror and match these things, right, that you can actually even create rapport that way in their language, things like that. Okay, so today I want to talk just about the outline of rapport. And so versatility is being able to adapt, and write this definition down, your ability to adapt to a variety of people in a variety of situations in a variety of ways. I know all of us know somebody who, when they walk in the room, everybody turns their head, right? And it's because you can already tell that they have that energy of leadership, that they want to be for everybody, not just one crowd, not just people who are like me, right? They actually have the ability to adapt to all different types of personality styles. Okay, so let's go ahead and start through this because I want to help you guys create a cheat sheet in the time that we have today. So a couple things that I always want, and I want you to write this point down first. First and foremost, when you're learning versatility, or if you haven't learned versatility yet, or just a review on it, because I think even somebody like myself who's experienced in it and has known about it for years, right? I have a tendency to forget this one little habit. Okay, and I want you to write this one down because it's critical to your success and versatility. And I want you to put a note for yourself that decide who they are not first before you decide who they are. Okay, again, decide who they are not first before you decide who they are. And the reason why I always will say that is because there are times, and I know we can all speak to this, whether we're dealing with a divorce situation, clients who are, in a stressful situation, everything that we've been going through this year in 2020, thank goodness it's almost over, right? Everything that's been happening is there can be stress, there can be, life circumstances, whatever it may be, that put these people into a position where they may not be acting in their true self. Okay. But they will always make decisions. So write this point down. They will always make decisions based on who they really are. And that's critical for your sales process. They will always make decisions based on who they really are. Okay, so number one, decide who they are not first before you decide who they are. And number two, they will always make decisions based on who they truly are, who they are at their core. Okay, so as we go through this and as you read those books, what you'll see is people always have a dominant personality style, and then they have an underlining personality style. Okay, and their dominant essentially is where they're always going to make their decisions. I'm just going to pick on me, okay? But for those of you who don't know me very well, as you can tell, I'm highly expressive, right? And then I have a driver underlining, and especially when it comes to business, okay? So there's things like that that you really want to pay attention to because you can help them make a decision quicker, okay? So to kind of give us a quick outline, if we were just to give a quick outline, I want you guys to just kind of create yourself a cheat sheet, and hopefully you guys can see this. But you have kind of a 4-square situation, okay? And you have your driver, you have your expressive, your analytical, and your amiable. Again, your driver, expressive, analytical, and amiable. Okay? And I want you to specifically write it down for those reasons. Okay, so driver, expressive, analytical, and amiable. And the reason why is because these 4 personality styles all have something in common, right? And so when we're going through the questions, when we're using our scripts, because that's what these are used for, you guys, if you use your scripts, you truly can actually figure out who your client is, okay? By the way, they answer their questions, okay? But going into this is you have your driver, your expressive, your analytical, and your amiable. They have something in common, okay? So real quickly, I'm just going to go through this quick because of time's sake, but a driver and expressives, what they have in common, they are fast in everything that they do. Okay, so they are fast speakers. They are often fast in their decision-making process. Okay, they walk fast, they talk fast, they act fast. Okay, that is what they have in common. So don't underestimate that just because you have somebody on the phone who speaks fast doesn't mean they're necessarily an expressive. Could mean that they're a driver, but a driver is going to be a little bit more direct with you, right? Okay, then on the expressive, amiable side of things, what do they have in common? They're high in emotion, and they will always make their decisions based on emotion. And then obviously, if we go to this side, the driver and analytical, they're low on emotion, and they will always make their decisions based on facts, figures, or bottom line. Right? So they're the client that when you get them on the phone is, what's my bottom line going to be? Who do you have? Probably more of your driver, right? So paying attention to those types of things. And then between the analytical and the amiable, these guys are slow at everything they do. Okay. Again, you guys know this, never a criticism to any personality style. And one of the things that I would tell you guys is if you haven't already and you're in sales, it is so hard to be versatile if you don't know who you are. Okay, so go on to Tony Robbins' website, take the DISC test. Don't just go off of what you say you are or what your friends say you are. Go take the test. Because I will tell you, if people in business would tell you I'm a driver, I'm not a driver, right? I'm an expressive, okay? So just know that you need to find out who you are, because your ability to adapt to other people, you first need to know who you are first. And especially in sales, a lot of us think that being a driver means we're successful. It doesn't. Okay, sometimes they're quite honestly the people that most people can't relate to. Right? And so they even have to work really hard on this. Okay. So really go in and find out who you are. So Tony Robbins has a great DISC test. There's others, the color code, things like that. You just have to figure out how it adapts to what I'm teaching you today. So, okay. So real quickly, I just want to give you guys some key things for these personalities, but essentially why I gave you those 4 points first is I want you to be able to eliminate, right? On your lead sheets, are you putting up there, okay, possible driver, possible expressive? Are you putting up there possible amiable, possible expressive? Don't ever just, especially if you haven't met with the client yet, or you don't know them personally, don't just immediately assume that you actually know who they are. Okay, because it can be misleading at times. So real quickly, we'll start with the driver personality style. So I just want to kind of give you guys a little cheat sheet where you're able to hold on to some of these things. Okay. And then definitely go and grab some of those books because they will get into it in the depth of things. So a driver personality style that, like I said, they're low on emotion. They make their decisions quickly. But unlike the expressive, who makes their decisions quickly based on emotion, the driver is going to make their decisions quickly based on bottom line. So how can you bring to your listing presentation or to the buyer that you're working with the information he needs to make a decision quickly based on numbers, not emotion? Okay. They are very control oriented and they will take control of the conversation. So to my sweet amiables or my high level expressives, let them take control. But how do we always gain control from the driver? We ask questions and get back the control, right? But the one thing with a driver is you always want to let them feel like they're in control because it's the ego. They love their ego, right? And so let them have that. Okay. They love action. So anything I can do to make them feel like they're involved in the action of the situation. And they're very forceful personality styles and they tend to get things done. I remember when I was teaching this to one of my coaching clients years ago, she goes, "Oh, so my husband's really not a jerk. That's just who he is." Right? You guys, this doesn't just apply in sales. I'm just telling you, as Jim Rohn will say, sales is sales. Whether you're selling your friend on where you're going to dinner tonight, whether you're selling your significant other on something, or whether we're selling homes, use these techniques in your personal life as well. Okay. Then the next thing is they are considered to be very dominant personality styles. Like I said, I have nicknames for all of them. I like to call the driver the jerk, right? Or a few other names that you can think of. Okay. So, but they're very dominant personality styles. They're very, like I said, very bottom line oriented. And they're always going to be, here's the key word, they seemed rushed and impatient. Doesn't mean they are, but oftentimes the way in which they'll respond is you'll feel as almost it's an impatient way, right? That they're being impatient with you. Okay. And they always appear to be very aloof or sometimes often arrogant. Some things to pay attention to. This is a whole other topic we can get into, but NLP and how they shake your hand and all that other stuff. But one of the things that I would tell you to pay attention to is their nonverbal clues. So again, they're rushed, impatient. They often will shake your hand very firm. So if you're meeting them in the lobby at the office, they're usually going to be that person and they're usually going to come over the top of your hand because they want control of the conversation. Okay. And they will always lean towards you if you're sitting down at a table. They're never going to lean back. That's not their personality style. Okay. Some verbal clues is they'll speak fast and they'll often make demands at you. Again, not because they're trying to be a jerk. That's just how they work. So learn how to adapt and understand that's not them being mean to me. That's them making their demands because they want crap done, right? They just want to get to the bottom line. Okay. So just think about those things. They will use words like get to the point, skip the details, get on with it. Okay. Whenever you have a driver in the room and they say skip the details to you, that means your presentation has gone way too long. Get to the point. Okay. Again, learn how to be versatile with the driver. Okay. The next personality style, I would say, is your expressive personality style. Okay. So they're over here. Again, they are fast decision makers, but they're based on emotion. Okay, they're the people that if you get them at the right moment and they aren't happy with something, they might make the switch over. Things like that. Okay. They're very outspoken. I call these guys the life of the party, or at least we think we are. Okay. So the life of the party, very outspoken, very outraged, very gregarious in everything that they do. They're very open people. In fact, I will tease and say, but just yesterday, our receptionist here, even at the office, told me, well, you're just pretty transparent. You just tell everybody everything about your life. And I'm like, oh, great. That's not a good thing. But they're very open personalities, right? They like to share what's going on in their life. I also call these guys the me monster. Okay. Expressives have a tendency to go me. Let me tell you what I've done. Let me tell you how successful I am. And let me tell you this. And let me tell you why it's always the me monster. Okay. And you really have to pay attention to that. So I will tell you at times, as another expressive, if I have another expressive in the room, they drive me crazy. Why? Because we want the center of stage. Okay, so that's another thing. Give them the center of stage when you're working with them. Make them feel important. Strike their ego. So these two personality styles, they're very egocentric. Where the analytical and the amiable, not so much. Okay. Some other things about them is they, again, like I said, they like to be the center of a stage. They rarely allow themselves to get bored. I was coaching another agent, and I remember them saying as they were in a listing presentation, it went, I believe, 2.5 hours long, which is way too long, right? 2.5 hours long, that the mom, the wife, actually got up from the table and went to bed. They will not get bored. They'll go do something else. Okay, so don't underestimate this. They will always be late. Expressive are almost always late. So you have an expressive appointment, a listing invitation, or something like that. Don't be surprised if you have to have 15 minutes additional extra hour, because they're always going to be late, and you might even run late. These are an hour and a half time slot versus your hour. Just because I'm going to talk about. Okay, so again, how do you control them? Ask them questions. Use your transitional statements. Okay. Some verbal clues, you guys, are going to speak very personal. Okay, they're going to speak very personal thoughts. This is how I feel. Oh, I got words that we're skipping out a little bit. Give me 1 second, guys. Just gonna test my speaker here.
I just texted you a number you can call in on, Lindsey.
Yeah, I saw it. I'm getting one.
Although it seems like it might be better. Talk for a second. Let's see.
Better?
Yeah, just the echo now. But yes, it's. No, you're muted on your computer now.
Is that better? Are we good?
Perfect.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so quickly, just some nonverbal, like I said, the statements that they will use are going to be, this is how I feel. This is who I am, right? This is where I am going. We're going to talk to you about the bigger picture of the opportunity for them and their family.
Losing you again.
Yeah, I just got a thing on that.
Nope, we can't hear you.
Okay. Are we better now?
Yep, there you go.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay. So this is how I feel. Me, right? Like they always will talk in me statements. Okay. Some nonverbal clues to pay attention to. They will avoid eye contact in most cases. Okay. They're not going to be the person who looks at you directly in the eye because they're going to always be looking at other things. I call it the squirrel syndrome, right? And then they're always going to be talking about what they're going to do. Okay. The amiable person, or sorry, yeah, let's go through the amiable personality style. So again, these two have things in common, right? These guys move fast, act fast, walk fast based on motion. These guys move slow based on emotion. Okay, so you have to be respectful of that. If I have an expressive and I try to close them fast, it works. If I have an amiable and I try to close them fast, they're gonna retreat, but they're not gonna tell you, right? If I try to close an expressive fast and they don't like it, they're just gonna give me the middle finger. The amiable is gonna retreat from you. Okay, they're just gonna avoid your calls and your text messages, things like that. Another thing with an amiable, I'm never gonna text these guys to remind them of their appointment because they will always back out because it's the fastest way to back out of the appointment without having to be confronted. Same thing with an expressive. I'm never going to text them to remind them of their appointment because then they have a better party to go to. Okay. So just to give you guys some ideas that the amiable, I often refer to them as the best friend. They're the one who's always wanting, right, your approval. They always want to make sure that you know that they're there to help you, that kind of thing. They're high on emotion. They make decisions slowly. Okay, they're very friendly and very warm personality styles. Or their person is just very friendly and warm, right? They're very agreeable. They will almost always agree with you. All of us have had a time where we've been on an appointment or we've been prospecting and we were like, oh my gosh, that call was so easy to set the appointment. They're going to agree with you to get you off the phone. Okay. So be careful that you're not going back, that you're stopping and actually going through your pre-qualifications before you actually let them off the phone to make sure you're creating value. Okay. They're great team players. They're very supportive. Make them feel like they're part of the team through the process and you'll have them forever. They will refer you. These guys will refer you more clientele than anybody. Okay, they're very soft-hearted and empathetic towards others, and they always are working towards a common goal. So again, help them see that you guys are working towards the goal of getting their home sold or the goal of buying them a home. Okay, and they're very soft-spoken and very easygoing. Okay, some things that you should know, really their dominant motivation is just a need of approval. So anything that I can do to make them feel approved by me, or if we're in a situation and I'm in a negotiation and I'm having to explain them something, but still again, wanting them to make the decision, right? Because I'm never going to take ownership in it. Let them make the decision, but give your approval to their decision, because again, that will draw them in closer to you. Right? So making sure that you're approving not only them personally, because they do love the social improvement, but them and the aspects of that their decisions are the right decisions that they're making. Okay. They're going to use statements like, I feel ... right? Or my intuition says ... Okay. And then they often might even ask you sometimes, are they meeting with you or are they meeting with somebody from your team? So make sure that you dial that in with them pretty closely. Okay. And then the last personality style, you guys, we have is the analytical personality. Again, very low on emotion, but don't underestimate these guys. If they get excited about their numbers, their statistics, and other things, sometimes they very quickly can come into this realm a little bit. Okay, the expressive personality style. Because if the numbers make sense, they're so excited to tell people. Okay, but that doesn't mean they're an expressive. Again, pay attention to the words in which they're using in all of these personality styles, how they're talking to you, not just the tone, not just the fast pace. Are they mirror matching those things? But there's certain things you can pay attention to. Okay, so they're very low on emotion. They're slow in the decision-making process. So as an agent, make sure you're giving them all the information you can to help them make their decision quicker, because they will go check all the facts and figures themselves. They're very structured and very organized. These are the guys that if you really want to win them over, they're the ones, if you don't have one, you should. They're the ones that want to see your schedule. They want to know what you're going to be doing to get their home sold. Okay. They're often considered the perfectionist. They're the guys that are always, I like to say, going ready, aim, ready, aim, ready, aim, ready, aim, and they never fire unless they have enough information. Okay. They're good at problem solving and they're very disciplined on their time. Do not be late. My other expresses out there, do not be late to this appointment. They do not like it. Okay. And if you tell them the appointment's only going to be 15 to 20 minutes, it better only be 15 to 20 minutes unless they have questions. And whether you're an agent, whether you're a manager who's recruiting, or whether you're entitled mortgage, it's the same thing for you guys. Okay. Do not be late for these guys. They're very disciplined with their time. And they have often what I call the dry sense of humor. So I have family, you guys, who's from back east, so I can say this, all right? But I often will refer to the East Coast sense of humor. It's very dry, cut, and to the chase, and they think they're funny, but they're really not, okay? So, and then they always appear to be quiet and cool. So they're the people that oftentimes when you're in a listing presentation, they're just gonna kind of sit back and hear what you have to say. But in their head, they're going 100 miles an hour, analyzing everything you've told them. Okay, some nonverbal clues is they will almost always, like I said, never use body gestures. They kind of just sit back and listen. And they often will have like a relaxed handshake. Okay, and some verbal clues is much like the amiable. They're going to speak very slow, very soft in most cases. Like I said, unless they're excited about their numbers, very soft, very synced. Right. And they are going to use statements with you guys like, what are my options? You'll never hear an expressive say that. I just want you to tell me what to do. Okay. But you'll see the analytical, they're always going to say, what are my options? Please explain that. Okay. You guys, one thing with an analytical personality style, never, ever, ever come to the meeting, even if you are looking like you're disorganized, because it is the biggest turnoff to an analytical, right? So again, my expressives out there, make sure your stuff is neatly put together. Okay. Amiables, make sure you come with these things. So again, as you can see, it's important for you guys to know these personality styles. I will tell you this, and you can write this down, but if you want a business where 20% of your income year over year keeps growing, they say that this technique alone for salespeople will raise an agent's business by 20% year over year. Your ability to adapt to the person, your ability to ask first great questions, right? To listen to who they are, to then know who you need to be for your client. Okay, so take into consideration some of these books. If you guys haven't dug into them, grab a couple. This is the best time of the year. Like I said, we're probably reading more than we normally do. Hopefully you're not watching more TV. Okay. But let's make sure that we're reading these books. If you have any questions on versatility, come talk to me. I'm more than happy to help you. But what I would challenge you guys to do is take some time in your role play sessions and role play out the different personality styles. Have them be a specific personality style for you. Right? So that you know how to not only handle the objections or know how to handle the script itself, but now I know how to speak to them when I'm asking the right questions, right? I'm using their language, their tone of voice, and analytical, like I said, I was going to talk about systems, processes, things like that. If I can then go back and go, okay, Kyle, these are the systems that I'm going to use to sell your home, right? Those are the things that I can tell will bring you in closer. Okay. So if you guys, yes, I'll put the books in the chat box here in just a second. So again, Versatile Selling, The Platinum Rule, and I love the book Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox, because it talks about how we have charisma with everybody who's like us, but how do we have charisma with other people? Okay. So you guys, thank you so much for being on the meeting this morning. I was going to say a call, but thank you so much for being on the meeting this morning. It's so fun to be with you guys. Hopefully this is helpful. Please, please, please learn these techniques, because I promise you, not just in your business, but if you learn how to be this for other people in your personal life, again, it's why love the company so much because it's not just had an impact on me in my business, it's had an impact on me personally. Okay, let's go ahead and close out with affirmations.